Hi guys! It is good to be back. Sorry I missed a few videos. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that we had our baby 2 weeks ago. He came right on his due date, all on his own initiative, and his birth was so much better than Ezra's, so I can't wait to tell you about it. I want to tell you about his birth, chat a few things postpartum, and introduce you to him. So I'll go grab him in a minute. His name is Valentine Jude, and he was 7 pounds 6 ounces. His head was 14 inches rather than 14.9 like Ezra's, which was so nice. I think there were just a lot of different factors that made this birth so much better, but I know a lot of it is because of your prayers, and there were so many people praying for him and just for an easier delivery this time, and I am so grateful. We felt the presence of God through the whole thing, and yeah, we're just so thrilled that he's here and he's healthy, and he is such a sweetheart. Before I jump into his birth story, I wanted to show you a couple packages that I got. I thought it'd be fun to open these. I ordered a couple things for Valentine over Black Friday and just thought that would be fun to share with you. So the first thing that I got was this journal for him. The company is Papier, and you can get personalized journals, notebooks, planners, all those things. So I got one for Valentine. I got one of these for Ezra as well, a different style. Oh, let me go, I'll go show you Ezra's too. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I think I have a link I can share with you if you want to order one where you get like $5 off and I get 5 off my next one or something. But this is the one I got for Ezra, and it says Ezra Soul Yoder with his birthday up here. And then Valentine's is like this, Valentine Jude Yoder with his birth date down here. So this is my version of like a baby book, what I'm keeping for the boys. I'm just like the first, I just think they're so pretty. The first year I'll probably document like milestones and stuff, and then just use the notebook to write down like significant things that happen or funny quotes. Probably that's mostly what it's going to be filled with. It's just funny things that he says. My mom kept a journal of like funny quotes that us kids said when we were little, and it's like one of our favorite things now. So got that for him on Black Friday. And then he does not fit in any of the clothes I had prepared for him. Like literally everything is too big. So on Black Friday, I did a little H&M shopping for him, and they're so cute. I want to show you really quickly what I got. I'm just gonna blaze through these, okay? I got this little sweater set. This will probably be his first church outfit, but this will be perfect for the winter. I got not the 0 to 3, like everything I have is 0 to 3, and I'm just realizing I needed some newborn stuff. So, little pack of socks. It's just going into the holidays with a newborn, like we're going places, we're going to holiday things, and I need some clothes he can wear that actually fit him, you know? So this little 2-piece sweatshirts, and then I bought coordinating sweats to go with it. These are like the exact same fabric, so I can either, these are little joggers, either wear them like a matching sweatsuit, or they'd be really cute to mix and match too. So I got these 4. And then I also got, as an alternative to the joggers, I got these little leggings. But I feel like all of these are gonna be so nice to mix and match. They're all really basic. A little black sweatshirt, and then a pack of little pants. So yeah, they're all really basic and the colors go together. So little tigers, like a periwinkle color, which is actually one of my favorite colors, and then a charcoal. These little, I don't know if they're harem pants, is that what you call them? I just feel like they always fit the baby so nicely because they go over the diaper, nice and saggy up top, and then a little cuff on the bottom always helps. So these will be cute to mix and match, I think, with these sweatshirts as well. So mostly casual, just some pants and sweatshirts. But then, oh, and some socks, and then spent a little more on this sweater set but I was like, I want something to take his newborn pictures in, like a Christmas outfit, a first church service, like Sunday outfit. So anyway, that's that. That's all I got from H&M. That's all I got. I know it's kind of a lot. Very excited about that. Let's move on to his birth story. So, it all started Wednesday night, I think. Yeah, his due date was on Thursday. Wednesday evening, I started feeling like these squeezes really low in my pelvis. And I was like, is that a contraction? And I was like, I don't think so, because the way it started with Ezra was like my whole stomach squeezed. Like I felt the contractions like a lot higher up, all over my stomach, and it just didn't feel the same. But then the squeezes kept getting tighter and a little bit painful. They started like coming like in a pattern, kind of on a rhythm, and I was like, I think something's happening. Earlier that day, I just started seeing a little color in my stool, and I was starting to lose my mucus plug a little bit. So that was the very first sign. I was like, ooh, like I know it's not, it doesn't necessarily mean labor is like imminent, but it means something is happening. So I was excited about that. I went to a birthday brunch earlier that day and had a really sweet prayer time with some ladies from my church, and came home, made supper, had a chill evening, and then started feeling this. And I was just so excited because I thought, I really did not expect him to come on his due date. I was braced for like going 2 weeks overdue if I needed to. But when it started like becoming rhythmic, I was just like, oh, I think this is the real thing. I think these are actually contractions. So about 11 o'clock that night, they became really painful, to where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start keeping a note in my phone and just see how often these come. So I started keeping track of the time, and they just became more and more painful. They were still super low. Like these contractions totally felt different than the start of Ezra's labor, but I don't know if it's because he was in a different position or because I wasn't induced this time, so it just felt different. I don't know. Whatever the case, I had them all night. They were painful enough that I couldn't sleep. So I didn't sleep at all that night, which is kind of a bummer, but I was too excited, they were too painful, and they were coming like probably every 5 minutes for the entire night. Like average 5 minutes. Some were closer together, some were a little further apart. But James and Ezra had gone to bed, and James was sleeping, and I think around 2 o'clock he woke up and he's like, babe, are you okay? What's happening? Because I just had the lamp on and I was kind of walking around, sitting in bed, doing different things. I took a long hot shower and just got like all clean and comfortable and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely having contractions. And I was like, they've been like every 3 to 5 minutes. At that point, they were like a little faster, closer together. And I was like, they're pretty painful. I can't sleep through them. And he was like, babe, the doctor told us to come in when it was every 5 minutes. And I was like, yeah, but they're not lasting quite a full minute. And I had just downloaded an app on my phone to like track exactly how long they last and how frequently they were. So I was like, I want to track at least a full hour with this. Also, I was just like expecting that it's going to take forever, and I didn't want to rush off to the hospital and then be like, oh, it's nothing, you cute little thing, you're just 1 centimeter dilated, go home and rest, you know. So I was like, I just want to stay here as long as I can, so when we get there, something for sure is happening, you know. So I tracked it for another hour. We kept like, at that point, James was too excited to sleep too. So from 2 a.m. on, he didn't sleep. It was actually super fun. We were just in our bedroom, cozy lamps, chatting, excited, doing different things. I called the hospital to see what they thought, and apparently they can't give medical advice over the phone. So they're like, you know, we're always here for you, but I can't tell you to come in or not. Finished packing my hospital bag, and then eventually text my sister-in-law, and I was like, hey, I think something's happening. Like, can we bring Ezra over if we need to at some point? And she replied, yeah. I made it through the whole night, just laboring there at home in the bedroom. And around 5 o'clock, we were like, okay, you know, it's 5 a.m. The hospital's open now. Or no, they open at 6, I think. but it's an hour drive. So I was like, you know, they're like really painful. So I was like, an hour from now, they're gonna be even worse. And the ride there is gonna be a lot more pleasant if we go now. And we'll get there at 6, which means we don't have to go in through the ER like we did with Ezra, which was hard. So I was like, let's go. I think I'm ready. So we grabbed our stuff, got Ezzy in his PJs and into the car and dropped him off at my sister-in-law's. And it was just so exciting and so fun. And I felt totally normal between contractions. So the contractions were painful. I had to like brace for them, kind of breathe through them. But in between contractions, I felt great, which was also different than Ezra's. So we drove and I was like, I want to get McDonald's before we get to the hospital because I had a feeling they wouldn't let me eat once we're there and I didn't know how long it was going to be. So we got McDonald's breakfast, never tasted so good. I was so happy and excited, but also nervous because I was like, what if I get in there and they're just like, go home, you know, you sweet sensitive thing. Like, I was like, I think like this is really painful and I think it's serious. I probably have made progress, but honestly, all of Ezra's birth was like pushed and prodded along. Like we had to start labor artificially and so many things. So I didn't really have anything to compare it with. This was just my body doing its own thing and I could feel everything. So Valentine's awake. You want to meet him? I'll be right back. Okay, I think he has an air bubble, so I'm just gonna keep him like, there we go. Good job, sweetheart. I think that's why he was fussing a little bit. He is such a sweetheart, like wow, such an easy baby. If he cries, it's because he has an air bubble or a messy diaper or is hungry. This kid is particular. He does not like to have a messy diaper. He likes to be clean, which is awesome. I think it's cute. I think it shows his personality a little bit because Ezra didn't care. He could care less. He couldn't care less if his diaper was messy. But Valentine will let you know. And he is a hungry little kid. He eats and eats and eats. So he has a lot of messy diapers, which is awesome. He gained like almost an entire pound in that first week. You wanna meet everybody? You wanna say hi? Here he is. Valentine, say hi. Hey, everybody. He woke up with a bit of a mohawk this morning, which is really cute. He's so perfect. He's so soft. He smells so good. I could eat him up. Yeah, so that's Valentine. Anyway, so we got to the hospital, ate our breakfast, just sat in the car for a second, like taking it all in. Are you ready for this? Like, it was, yeah, such a fun night. Honestly, felt like, I don't know, we were so giddy on the way to the hospital. We were just like, he's coming. My body's doing this all on its own. Like, so exciting when you think you're getting close to meeting your baby. So we went in, got checked in, went on up, and they just put you in like a little observation room or something where they take a stool sample and they check you to see if they're gonna admit you or not. So I was just like, please don't be just 1 centimeter. Like, I was like, please let us stay. Like, I wanted to settle in and just keep working through things and be there ready to roll, rather than drive an hour home. Or I was like, what are we gonna do? Maybe we'll just go out for like a special breakfast or something if they don't let us stay. But they were like, oh, you're 40 weeks, like you're full term, I think we're gonna keep you. So they checked me and I was 4 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced. So I was like, yay, good for you, little body. Like, you did that. You made all that progress through the night and all on your own. And it was just, everything was working exactly how it was supposed to be. And I didn't need a Foley bulb or castor oil or breaking my water to get there. And my contractions were still nice and steady, good and strong. James and Ezzy just got home. They were dropping off a mattress for a Hands of Christ friend. So we'll see if we can get through the rest of this. But yeah, they were like, we're definitely keeping you. We'll get your room ready. Move you over. So we got settled in the delivery room, and my contractions just kept coming, nice and constant, nice and painful. It was so much fun. I called my mom and I was like, hey, we're at the hospital. You can come join us if you want to see your grandson be born. So she like freaked out because she had missed all my texts through the night. Jumped in the car and came as fast as she could. And then her and James and I were just chilling. I think James ran across the street to get some coffee and some breakfast for mom. And we were just chatting, working through contractions. They were so sweet and encouraging, and my nurses were too. And there was, one of my favorite guys was a nurse intern, like a student who was just shadowing from Kenya, and he was so sweet and cheerful and polite, and he would just like run back and forth. And there were some things I could eat. I wasn't allowed to eat anything except like Jello and popsicles and stuff like that, but he just kept running after Jello for me, and he'd always say thank you when he left the room. He was really sweet. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
I am recording a little video.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. You, baby.
You can join me if you want. I'm telling Valentine's birth story quick before I forget it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have my boots on.
You got your new boots on?
My hat.
They look so good. Yeah, you can take your hat off.
My red hat.
Did you get the mattress delivered?
Yeah.
Good job. Anyway, yeah, working through contractions, progressing nicely. My doctor suggested breaking my water just to speed things up. And so I was like, okay. But first, I want to get an epidural. So my anesthesiologist came in, got me all prepped and ready. My contractions were pretty strong and painful at this point, and coming pretty frequently. So I was like, again, like nervous that I couldn't hold still through the epidural. But they were like, James is gonna be your support person. He'll sit right in front of you and steady you. So I sat on the edge of the bed, put my feet on James's lap, held both his hands, stared him in the eyes, and we were just like determined. We're gonna hold perfectly still through these contractions so we don't mess up the epidural. So honestly, getting the epidural was not fun. Like, there's just no way around that needle going into your back. That like, it's just painful. And then they like put pressure.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, sweetheart. Yeah, babe, you want to say anything about the epidural?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, hi, bud. My two boys. Can you believe it? I have two boys.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. I love you.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time with Daddy?
Yeah.
What did you do?
You bring glasses on.
Glasses?
Yeah.
Who has glasses?
Eddie.
You're silly.
Eddie.
Oh, I see what you mean. The lines from the camera. Looks like glasses, huh? Anyway, it was not fun getting the epidural. And I did have 2 different contractions through the time they were doing the needle. And so it was really hard to hold still. And the last contraction, it was so painful. I was squeezing James's hand so hard and like staring so intensely into his eyes. And like so nervous that I was gonna have to move.
Baby Valentine.
That James was like staring right back, and then he put his head down for a bit. I literally thought he was praying for me, which would have been great, but because it was so intense, I thought he just took a moment to put his head down and pray. But I was like, babe, and he didn't look up. And then just a little bit later, he was like, guys, I really hate to say this, but I'm not doing so well. And he looked up, and there were drops of sweat all over his forehead, and his color was completely gone from his face. And he was like, I think I'm about to pass out. And the nurses were like, get the man some juice. So our little Kenyan friend went running out of the room to go find James some juice. and they whisk him away. He did great. He didn't pass out, but they quickly set him aside so he wouldn't faint on top of me while I was getting the epidural. Ezzy, you silly goose, that's Valentine's. This kid never took a pacifier. We always tried to get him to like one and he'd spit it out. Never until now. Now that Valentine likes pacifier, Ezra likes pacifier. You silly goose.
Bye-bye, son.
I don't want my daddy to go.
Aww.
I don't want to go either.
I don't either. Hurry back. James is going to a meeting now. As he said, I don't want my daddy to go.
I don't want my daddy to go.
Anyway, yeah, so getting the epidural was actually pretty intense. Like, it was painful. It was a huge needle going in my back. There were little shocks throughout my leg and just lots of pressure and a lot of nerves, like just nervousness because of what happened last time with my epidural. I understand why James like almost passed out. It was not fun. I
like patsies.
You like passies? So yeah, I just found it I felt so bad for him, but also found it so amusing at the same time. Very thankful that he didn't actually pass out. But yeah, got the epidural in. My friend Lindsay says that the epidural is like Jesus juice, and that's exactly what it was. It's just like Jesus juice. You're in so much pain and you're just barely making it, and then you get this epidural and it's just like, you still feel everything. You still feel the pressure. You still feel, you can still move your legs and everything, but like almost all the pain is gone. So it just takes the edge off. You're just like so relaxed. At that point, I was like, I think I could take a nap. I probably should get some sleep since I didn't sleep all night. And labor's gonna be, you know, take a lot of energy. So I laid down to take a nap, but then things started going downhill. So apparently Valentine had the same heart issues that Ezra did during labor, which was so sad. It never got nearly as intense or dangerous, I would say, but they came in and broke my water. They were like, we're gonna have to get him out fast because he's in distress. After the contractions, his heart rate wouldn't come back up. And so it was just a long time of flipping me back and forth, trying all these different positions to try to find some position that he was happier with, where his heart rate could come back up. And then just lots and lots of people coming into the room to try to figure it out and decide what to do and think of ideas of how we're gonna get this kid out like extra fast. So that was kind of discouraging. I almost started crying and just getting super sad at that moment because it felt like everything was starting to go the way that it did with Ezra. And my doctor that was going to deliver him wasn't there yet because he wasn't actually the OB that was on duty or on call there or whatever. He was working at a different hospital that day, but was just planning to come in for the delivery whenever I got close. So the doctor that was on staff that day came in and she was like, I think we're probably gonna have to go to C-section, but I'm really glad you got your epidural because you can be awake for it. And I was just like, oh, this is so sad. My body was doing so great. Valentine was doing so great. Everything was going like how it was supposed to, and now all of a sudden his heart rate won't come up. He's in distress and we probably have to go C-section again. But prior to this, the nurses kept telling me,
water.
Yeah, they break mommy's water?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Prior to this, when the alarms would go off and people would rush in and they'd be flipping me around and saying like his heart rate's not good, the nurses kept telling me like, oh, you're doing so amazing. Actually, the doctor that was on duty said, you are so amazingly calm. This is the best thing you can do for your baby right now is stay calm. And she's like, I know it's hard, like when you're worried about the baby and all of this is going on, she's like, I know it's super hard to stay calm and positive and stuff, but she's like, you're doing great. It's the best thing you can do for your baby right now. So when I was about to like burst into tears and I'm like, I don't want to go to C-section, like I don't, it was all going so well, what happened? I was just like, I can't let myself go there.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Hi. You're so sweet. Wow. You guys see what a good big brother Ezzy is?
Hi.
Do we love Valentine so much?
Hey, Mommy, a kiss. Hi.
Sometimes when Valentine is crying, Ezra will sing him a song and he calms right down. He'll talk to him. Ezra will stick his little finger in his mouth for him to suck on and sing to him. And you guys are really becoming best friends already, aren't you? Anyway, so yeah, so I was like, okay, I gotta stay positive, I gotta stay calm. And the Lord really helped me to do that because I did feel a little discouraged in that moment because of the heart issues again. Anyway, yeah, so the doctor on duty thought we'd probably have to go to C-section, but they called my doctor right away to have him come over from the other hospital. And it was so comforting when he came in because I could tell right away. He was like, oh, we're gonna get this baby out. He'll be fine. We're gonna do this vaginally. So his confidence was really reassuring. Okay. I feel like when you have your second baby, God, while he's at it, growing a baby in there, he should just grow an extra set of hands for the mother. Wouldn't that be nice? You birth with your second, with every, with every additional child that you have, your uterus can grow 2 extra. With every additional child that you have, you should get 2 extra hands. You grew an entire human inside of you. How much harder would it be just to add 2 extra hands to that? Anyway. Yeah, so my doctor came in, he was like, okay, there's different things we can try. I was at an 8 at this point, and he said, when a contraction comes, you push, and I'm gonna stretch your cervix. See if we can get you to open up a little faster. So I would push as hard as I could during the contractions, and he would pull me open and see if he could just get me a little closer to a 10 before we tried pushing. We decided this time we did not want to use the vacuum again because of, it was just so hard on both the baby and I. So we had so much to recover from afterwards. We were just gonna go to C-section a lot sooner, even though we were really hoping for a perfect, just normal vaginal delivery. But he stretched me open and he said, I'm gonna turn on a little bit of Pitocin, see if that can help you speed up a little bit. And then the nurses were like brainstorming all these different things they could do to try to get me complete. Sorry, do you have... So the nurses were like, I was like, hey, I heard of this position from spinning babies, and I like described it to them, which is something you can do during labor if you want your baby to flip, like if they're sunny side up and you need them to flip before they come out. There's this position you can try during labor, during contractions, that kind of squeezes them to where they're forced to flip. And they're like, oh yeah, we know that one. They're like, it really puts the baby in distress. He wasn't sunny side up. It wasn't like we needed him to flip that way, but they were just like, it might like squeeze him to where the only place for him to go is like down and out. This really kind of crazy nurse came in. She was really sweet. She was young, had long purple hair, big glasses. She was like very confident. She came in to give our other nurse a break because she hadn't left the monitors since like his heart started having trouble. She's just like, let's do it. She said one time I did that and the mom went from an 8 to a 10 and had the baby out in 2 pushes. She's like, the baby won't like it, but he's already in distress, so what can, you know, can't be worse than this. And they're like, every time we've done this, we tell the residents that are monitoring in the hall not to look because the baby freaks out when you do it. So they were like, not sure if they should, not sure if they were allowed to, but they were like, who's your doctor? And then I said who it was, and they're like, oh, he won't care. If it was a different doctor, we wouldn't do it, but he's gonna be okay with it. So they did it. It's called the Welcher's position, and they stacked up a whole bunch of pillows and towels, like really high under the middle of my back, and then took out all the pillows under my head. So like I dropped down, my head and chest went back, my stomach was like high up in the air, and then they dropped the sides of my bed down so that my legs would like hang off the bed, hang down. So literally my legs and head and hands and everything were like hanging back and down, and my stomach was like propped up in the middle from pillows under my back. So James said I looked like a Thanksgiving turkey, all strung up and ready to go. Which I fully believe it. I felt like a Thanksgiving turkey. And then when a contraction came, basically with my spine curved like that and my stomach up so high, it squeezes him so hard, he kind of has to come down and out. So we tried that through a couple contractions. My doctor actually came in while I was in that position, and he was like, what is going on? Like, what are you guys doing? And thankfully he wasn't mad. He was just kind of joking, but he had to give them a hard time because it was very unconventional, I guess. But after they did that, and he stretched me a couple more times, and they turned on the Pitocin, all of a sudden he was like, you're at a 10, we're gonna push. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, oh, they had also called over to the operating room to get everybody scrubbed in for a C-section, but he said, we're gonna do it. It's time to push. And literally within 2 contractions, he came out. First contraction came, and I push as hard as I can and hold for 8 seconds. I do that 3 times through each contraction. And after the first contraction and those 3 good hard pushes and holds, he was like, I see his head is coming out. They were all like, he has lots of dark hair. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I couldn't believe it was going that fast that he was coming. And he was like, yeah, you can reach down and feel him. You want to feel him? So while we were waiting on the next contraction, I could reach down and feel his head and all his hair. And I had the epidural, but in comparison to Ezra's birth, like during Ezra's birth, it was so traumatic. Everything was just happening to me. Like I was just surviving the moment. And this time I felt so in control and so a part of everything. Like I could feel every little thing, like the pressure and how to push and where he was, and like I just felt so like a part of it and so aware and so involved. I don't know, it was just wonderful. I literally could reach down and feel his head coming out. Like my second contraction came, oh, before the second one, my doctor said, hey, tell the girls in the hall who had just scrubbed in for the C-section, he said, tell them to come in so we can rub it in their face that we're getting him out vaginally instead of going to C-section. So they stepped in and watched him come out. And then it was so amazing. They put him right up on my chest right away. He came out on that 3rd push of the second contraction, put him right up on my chest, and he wasn't like crying or anything, but he was breathing fine. He was nice and calm. I just kissed him all over, and we were rubbing his back, and then he started making sounds and stuff. They suctioned some stuff out of his mouth, but he was fine. Like he was just perfect and healthy and breathing, and just so sweet and calm. And they literally left him up on my chest for like an hour or 2. They didn't have to take him away to work on anything. He started nursing right away. It was just wonderful. So yeah, of course the nurses that did that Welcher's position, they were like, oh, it was all us. We got him to come down. And my doctor was like, no, it was like the stretching and a little vitamin P, he said, which was, he meant the Pitocin. And then the girls who had scrubbed in for the C-section were like, no, it was all us. Like they were trying to take credit for it because they're like, all we had to do was scrub in and like talk about a C-section and then he comes, you know. Anyway, everyone was in such a good mood. We were laughing and joking and crying and kissing our baby, and it was wonderful. It was so amazing. And then I asked him if I tore, because he wasn't stitching anything up. And he's like, you don't need any stitches. He's like, it's just a 1st-degree scratch. So he's like, you tore a little bit, but Ezra's so anyway, he's like, no stitches, it's just a 1st-degree scratch. I was like, are you kidding me? This is wonderful. So yeah, they had to do all the normal baby things, got him cleaned up, did a few tests, and then took us over to our room for the night and got us settled in. It was so wonderful. A bunch of our friends and family came, and honestly, I feel like it was so close to my ideal labor and delivery story. Like, that's exactly what I wanted, and the baby was healthy, and it has been wild how different recovery has been. Anyway, there is so much more that I could say. All the little details of how everything went, but I am just so thankful and grateful. So literally everything is different coming home and having that kind of a delivery rather than the kind we had with Ezra. Like, eating is so much easier. Feeding him is so much better. Sleeping is so much better. Physically, like, both he and I are so much better. We came home the 2nd night and I could go up our stairs. Like, after Ezra, I couldn't even sit for over a week. Like, much less go up the stairs. But yeah, everything has been much better. One thing that has been really hard for us is I have a little postpartum depression. So today has been my best day by far. And honestly, I'm shocked that I'm here recording a video because I've had some really hard days where I just literally like cannot get out of bed, and I cry and cry and cry. And everything is so sad. I went to my 2-week checkup, and they make you fill out like a quiz on how you're doing, like a little interview thing. I'm probably gonna cry talking about it. If I keep myself distracted and busy, it's a lot better. But like, whenever I get in my head, I just cry about nothing. Like, I did the evaluation and then I didn't score very well on it, so they wanted to put me on an antidepressant. They were kind of concerned about me. Said I'm worse than most people postpartum, and they just really think I need something to help me through this time. I opted out. I didn't really want to take an antidepressant right now. I don't have anything against medication like that, but I was like, I don't know if it's actually that bad, and I think I want to try like some other stuff at home first. So she said, okay, I mean, that's okay if you want to try without, but you have to keep tabs on it and you have to let me know if it gets worse. So I said, okay. Probably a dead giveaway was as soon as she mentioned me being depressed, I burst into tears. And as soon as she started talking about like people taking care of me and getting an antidepressant and the help I need, I was just like so sad. I just bawled in the doctor's office. So I don't think that gave her any more confidence in my claims that I would be fine. But she did let me go home without anything, and I went home, talked to James about it, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be okay. Like, it hasn't been every day, it hasn't been all day every day. But the next morning he went to work, and the boys and I were awake for hours in bed before we could ever get up. Like, we just couldn't get out of bed, and I just was crying and crying, and I couldn't stop, and everything I thought about was sad, even though there was nothing wrong. And I mean, I'd look over at Ezzy and just think about Ezra having a depressed mom, and that thought was unbearably sad to me, so I just sobbed some more, you know? Like, these hormones are crazy. Like, they really put you through it before and after the baby's here. So I was like, I think I need some help. I think I didn't quite know what to do, so I just text my friends, and I messaged my cousin Diana because it was like noon, and I was like, maybe she could come over on her lunch break. So she brought me Taco Bell and read stories to Ezra, and that got us out of bed. And just having her here, someone to talk to and distract myself a little bit with, really helped. So I was like, I'm gonna be intentional about reaching out to people and seeing if people can come over, and maybe try some certain foods and supplements that could help. Try to get outside a little bit every day. And I think in this case, often if you're really sad, I've had to learn the hard way because I am like a master distractor and like finding the silver lining with things. I just my personality type runs from sad feelings, and so I can always put a positive spin on it or find the silver lining or distract myself from feeling it. But I've had to learn that it's not always good. Like, you should address your issues and process them. But James gave me full permission to just distract myself through this. And I think this is different because it is just strictly a hormonal thing, and it's temporary, Lord willing. And if I can distract myself and keep myself surrounded by people that love and care for me and do little things to try to just kind of wait it out, I think I'm gonna be okay without needing to take an antidepressant. But it's rough, like, it's so crazy. Like, it's comforting in a way to know it's just hormonal and hopefully it won't last forever. But it's so sad when you cry so hard and you can't get up and do the things you need to do, and then even after you stop crying, your eyes and head hurt so bad from crying so much that you're just kind of like in a fog. Anyway, my family and friends have been so amazing. The days that it really started hitting me harder, well, that morning when I woke up and couldn't get out of bed and just couldn't stop crying, the morning after my appointment where she was saying I need Zoloft, I was like, okay, I need to take this seriously. I need to like figure out ways to cope and things that will help me. He's such an angel. But yeah, it's been kind of tough. So if I'm a little MIA, that's probably why. Also, like I said, it's just such an adjustment. I feel like Ezra has been a champ with the changes. Like, the adjustment has gone so well for him. I feel like probably it's hardest on me. Like, I've kind of been a mess. It's hard to parent 2 kids on your own, a toddler and a newborn, and it's hard to deal with these hormones, and sometimes it's just hard to do the most basic things you need to do. But I know that I am so lucky to have the friends and family around me that I do, and to have a God who loves and cares for me personally and shows up and speaks to me, and a sweet healthy baby to snuggle, and my sweet perfect Ezra. Like, I am so grateful. Life can be a little rough sometimes, but I am eternally grateful for the blessings I have. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you're still here, thanks for caring and being interested in our little family. I also feel lucky to get to have a creative outlet like this and a way to document our family life, and that you guys care to pop in and follow along and send encouraging messages. So I would really, really love if you struggled with postpartum depression. Let me know in the comments. Tell me how it was for you, and if you found anything that was helpful, like supplements or just daily practices or anything. Let me know. Because I am, just trying to figure out what to do and where to go from here, and we're just taking it one day at a time. But we found some little things that help, and I think we're gonna be okay. I guess we'll end the video here. I think Valentine is gonna be hungry soon. But yeah, that's the basic story. That's how Valentine Jude came into the world, and I am so grateful. So I don't know if I'll see you guys next Friday or not. We'll just see if I'm able to keep putting out videos weekly. I don't know, but we'll just figure it out as we go, I guess. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I am so grateful for all of you and for this little guy. and that we have community, that we're not alone. Do I always ramble at the end of these videos? I always feel like I'm on a roller coaster and I don't know how to get off, so just gonna say bye. Can I leave it with just bye? Somebody help. You can also leave good closing lines in the comments if you have ideas of how to end these videos. Just, you know, nice cliche phrases you can say at the end of a video to kind of wrap it up. Jump off the roller coaster. Thanks for being here. Bye.